I'm just going to introduce His Worship. I want to say this. I really appreciated having a chance to be here, to be the MC for this morning. I've been the Chief Constable in this community now for 9 years, and it's an opportunity for me to say something to you. I came here from Vancouver, which was a great city in lots of ways, but Abbotsford has kind of stolen my heart in a way because, and it isn't, I know we should talk about agriculture and the business and all the wonderful things here, but I will honestly tell you that the people in this community have stolen my heart. You people are so much more enjoyable to connect with and serve than other places I've been. I've only been in Vancouver. Anyway, that gave that away a bit. But the integrity of the people I work with in leadership positions in this city, the people I met this morning when I had a chance to have coffee and chat with a couple of you, you blow me away. I will honestly tell you that I developed a fair amount of cynicism surviving in the politics of Vancouver. And I came out here and I have not dealt with a politician, a person elected to office here who I didn't believe was actually trying to do a great job. And that's saying something for me, folks. So when His Worship went on council, I kind of wondered who this new human was going to be and what he was going to be about. And then when he became my mayor, I really wondered what it was going to be about, and because he's a very strong man in lots of ways, and I wondered where we were headed. And I have to tell you, I could do his bio and all that stuff. I'm not doing any of that. I just want to tell you that the man I go and sit with once a week and talk about the issues that matter to the citizens of Abbotsford is a person of such integrity. He lets me argue with him. He doesn't care if I agree with him. He never sort of stands in the way of something we're trying to accomplish that matters. His heart is for this community. It never wavers from all of that. And I'm not trying to give a political speech. He represents for me the person who I've sort of come to meet and work with here in Abbotsford and why I love serving this community. So Mayor Braun is this person where the core of the human being is rock solid, and I can always work with that person. And so I am just so pleased to have had the chance to be working with him and to MC this morning and get to say that to you people, that here I am, somebody on the inside who wants to just represent to you the fact that we have this person of integrity standing at the front of our city and leading the way. And I'm thrilled this morning to introduce to you Mayor Henry Braun.
Well, good morning. It's great to see so many of you out. And thank you for those kind comments, Chief Rich. I wasn't expecting that. But thank you. I am not perfect by any means. If you want to have verification, just come and talk to my wife later, and she'll tell you where my shortcomings are.
Yeah, you got to fix your pocket. Your wife says you're not perfect and you have to fix your pocket.
Okay, thank you for that. And thank you, Chief Rich, for agreeing to MC our event this year. And as I said, it's great to see all of you out this morning. You know, you never know, are people going to show up? What happens if they don't show up? Anyways, thank you. We had a great breakfast. I think I missed it, but Chief Rich did mention, I think I heard it in the washroom, about the breakfast. If not, Chef, our TradeX in-house chef, Michelle, again, provided breakfast. I thought it was awesome. If we didn't, well, let's give them a round anyways. They can handle 2 applauses, and if I misheard, then I'm glad I did it. Anyways, our format this morning, 25, 30 minutes, I'll be speaking, and then we'll have a 15, 20-minute open mic Q&A session. Council is now in its 3rd year of a 4-year strategic plan, and I can tell you that we are making great progress. The diagrams around the room and the information on your tables is there for your taking, and please read those at your leisure. As I drove in this morning, I was again reminded of how beautiful our city looks. And I know some of it is because it rains a lot, and we definitely have had our fair share of rain and snow this year. But have you noticed how beautiful some parts of our city are? maybe more than normal. Well, there's a reason for that. The city has again joined what's called Communities in Bloom, which is a competition between many cities to see who has the most beautiful city. So the judges are coming in mid-July, so we've been sprucing up the city in different spots, so we've been spending a little more time than we normally do, but we hope to continue to be in this program year over year. This past year, we've also had the opportunity to showcase our community through many special events. And of course, who can forget the BC Summer Games that we held almost a year ago now. That was an awesome BC Summer Games. It elevated the games, I'm told, to a level unprecedented before. 2,800 athletes were here from across our province, 18 different sports. We showcased our new MRC sports fields, the 3 artificial turf fields. And of course, our Abbotsford Centre was used for the opening ceremonies. And for those of you who were there, you will know what I'm talking about when I say that the vibe in that building, the auditorium, when those athletes walked in was fantastic. I've never been to the Olympics, but I'm told that this, from people who have been to the Olympics, that this was a mini Olympics. And I was so proud of our city and the games that we put on. And I do want to thank Steve Carlton and Stan Peterson and their team for the leadership that they gave. We've achieved many accomplishments towards our vision of the city of Abbotsford as the hub of the Fraser Valley. And of course, it covers our 4 cornerstones: a vibrant economy, a complete community, fiscal discipline, and organizational alignment. And everything we do is filtered through those 4 cornerstones. Since 2014, we have seen a significant increase in development activity year over year. And just to give you a flavor, as a percentage, our development inquiry meetings are up 164%. Our applications that we receive are up 45%. And just looking at residential development for a few seconds, our statistics are showing a continued increased trend. The in-stream application tells us, which is also going up, tells us that this activity is going to last for the next few years. Turning to rental housing, of course, that's a hot topic not only in this region but across our country, affordability. Last year, our rental vacancy rate in Abbotsford was 0.4% according to Stats Canada. That is the lowest rate in all of Canada, and that's a problem. But the marketplace, they look at these numbers too. They've responded. I can tell you that there are currently 626 rental units that are either complete, about 10% of that number is complete, and the rest are under construction. There is another 469 units that are in-stream applications. And so that's a little over 1,100 units. That should help alleviate that. Of course, one of the problems is those buildings don't go up overnight. It takes a year, 18 months from start to finish. Turning to homelessness, our homelessness action plan, Abbotsford Community Services, the Hearthstone Project, as it's known, the low barrier shelter on Gladys and George Ferguson, is up and running, and I think it's fully occupied probably by now. Last time I heard it was 97% occupied, and of course there's 30 men and women who were once homeless who now have a roof over their head, but they have more than a roof over their head. They have access to services that they need to help them transition from where they are to where they want to be. And of course, we have the ongoing operations of the temporary shelter at Riverside, and we have funding through March of next year from our provincial government, and I do want to acknowledge them. I know that our MLAs can't be here. There's something else going on in Victoria that they need to pay attention to, so they're not here. But I do want to acknowledge them without their help, we couldn't be doing some of the things that we've been doing. And of course, we also receive federal funds supporting Abbotsford homeless intake and the Abbotsford homeless intake and referral system. And I don't know where the Honorable Ed Fast is sitting, but he's here somewhere. I spoke to him earlier this morning. I do want to thank him. for having helped us achieve that goal, and it's good to see you out, Ed. So, looking forward to spending time with you on Canada Day. The Homeless and Intake Referral System is a system that will support teams to connect individuals with access to housing, plus health services, including mental health, and that's an important component, to promote life skills with the end goal to integrate people into healthy lifestyles, and I sometimes say to give them back their life, and I mean that, and our team is working very hard to accomplish this. There's many people, faith communities, businesses, individuals who ask me from time to time, how can we help? And we are getting great support from the community, and some of you are in this room, so you know who you are, so thank you. You're going to hear something more about something called the Foundry. This is a hub, a youth hub, providing services for youth and mental health, substance use challenges. Just to give you a flavor for what senior levels of government have helped us with, the total investment in the last 12 months that we've received from both federal and provincial governments is approaching $250 million. That's a billion with a B. And we are thankful for that because, again, as I said, this builds our community in many different ways. And there's a whole list of projects, but I'm just going to focus on one because it happens to be the largest one in terms of money. But it is the $156 million that the government provincial government is investing in our new provincial and Supreme Courthouse, something that we need. We are the 5th largest city in BC after all. Economic development. Abbotsford continues to gain recognition as a community of choice. And one sector that we see increased activity is filming. It's a growing sector in our community. In the past year, there's 35 productions filmed in Abbotsford, which is up 25% year over year. The city supported over 150 community events with an economic impact of many millions of dollars, including a Taste of Abbotsford, which is a week-long event highlighting local businesses, local produce, with local chef competition. And these great chefs are actually with us here today. They're sitting somewhere over there, so maybe just give a wave or stand up so people can see where you are. They're great chefs. I know I gained a few pounds judging their dishes, and they were delicious, so thank you. Turning to agriculture and technology, you're going to hear more about how we've coined this as ag tech. Ag tech is highlighting Abbotsford's strength in agriculture. It's creating an innovative ag tech industry, and the goal is to attract investors and ag tech entrepreneurs, and that is happening. Part of Council's strategic plan, of course, is to grow a business-friendly city, to help businesses with key resources to be all that they can be. To find out what they need, we instituted something called Business Walks. And last December was the 2nd annual Business Walk in Abbotsford. We engaged 123 different businesses. There was over 60 walkers, including elected officials and people from businesses and representatives from our local residents. And why did we do that? Well, to better understand the challenges and the opportunities that are before our small businesses. This led to the creation of a marketing toolkit for businesses to use. Of course, Canada's 150th birthday is just around the corner. The city was involved in a mural mosaic, which was hundreds of people coming together to paint a very small, I think 3 or 4 inch square tile. And they took those hundreds of tiles and 2 people in particular who put that together, and they created a mosaic. I couldn't believe what the final outcome was, because when I looked at my little tile, I thought, how on earth is this ever going to work? In any event, it is hanging in the foyer of the Matsqui Centennial Auditorium, our council chambers. If you haven't seen it, it's a legacy piece, and it's something you should have a look at. It's great. Special Canada Day events will be held throughout the city. with thanks to significant federal funding. So MP Sadhu is here as well. So thank you for helping us on that initiative and many others that I'll touch on. The Canada 150 roving exhibit highlighting Abbotsford's unique history. It's here as well. It's in the back there somewhere. Yes, I see it there. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, I invite you to take time to go look at it. This year we're going to have a two-day party for Canada's birthday. It starts on the evening of June 30 with local entertainment and food trucks at Exhibition Park. And I've looked at the outline. If you're free, I invite you to come. I think you'll enjoy it. There's some fantastic entertainment that'll be there. Then, of course, we'll have the traditional Canada Day Parade and a bigger and better fireworks than we've had before. So I invite you to come. August the 10th, we'll be celebrating something called Red, White, and You. And this is a symphony under the stars performed at Mill Lake Park with our own Calvin Dick and a live symphony orchestra playing in sync to a spectacular light show, I'm told. So don't miss that. Mark it in your calendars. Turning to transportation, key projects are moving us forward to becoming a regional hub. In the next year, you're going to see changes to some of our city roads. We're working on 5 major projects to expand our transportation network, and hopefully they're up on the slide. They are, good. The Abbotsford Airport, of course, TradeX is situated on airport lands. We had a record year last year. 530,643 passengers went through this airport. Why? Before I say why, in June, just to give you a flavor of where we're going, June, which is only a couple more days, we expect to hit 62,000 passengers, and that's going to ramp up to about 80,000 in August. And then, of course, it tapers off a little bit after that. But we are on track for another record year this year. Why is this happening? Well, there's 3 national airlines that are operating out of YXX. WestJet, of course, we celebrated our 20-year partnership with WestJet just last week. And of course, Air Canada Rouge is here, and New Leaf as well. And let's not forget our locally owned success story in Island Air Express, which has daily service to Vancouver Island. Chinook Helicopters, 25% of the licenses that are issued in Canada come out of Chinook Helicopters right here. I'm told it is the premier helicopter pilot training school in all of North America. Cascade Aerospace, of course, is here. Who can forget about them? They anchor our aerospace cluster that's developing here and continues to grow. And we may have some exciting things to say in the not-too-distant future about that. YXX will also host our International Air Show on August 11 through 13. The Aerospace Defense Security Expo will also be here. They are here every year. But in addition to that, the Canadian Business Aircraft Association Conference is also going to be held at that time. So there will be over 1,000 delegates from around the globe who will be in Abbotsford during Air Show Week. If you're in the market for a business jet, you might want to come at that time. I'm told that this building right here will be filled with some business jet aircraft, and there'll be 20 or 30 parked around the outside of this building on the grass. Every building at the airport is now occupied and generating revenue for the airport. Preliminary work is underway on a $5 to $6 million airport terminal expansion, and you can already see the services going in on some of the road as you leave. In addition, there's 2 private sector hangars that will be under construction in the next few weeks, and there's more to come. I just can't talk about it yet. From the skies to the rivers, shoreline flood mitigation projects. We received $14 million in provincial funding, $4 million last year, which we used after freshet, $10 million this year, which we will use to stabilize our south bank of the Fraser to protect Matsqui Prairie, Matsqui Village, Claiborne Village, Matsqui First Nations, and of course regional infrastructure that's located there. So we thank the provincial government again for stepping up to the plate. On the topic of water, we continue to maintain high quality water service to the community. We upgraded the Canal Lake facility with a new $3.1 million ultraviolet treatment equipment with thanks to the federal government. And we continue to upgrade the James wastewater treatment plant located adjacent to the river. Crime update. Last year, I think I told you that our crime was increasing and we weren't too happy about that. But this year, I can tell you that our crime rate is down 4%. I don't mean to denigrate our surrounding communities, but you need to know that our crime rate is lower than all of our jurisdictions that surround us. That's not to say we're happy where we are. We need to keep that in context when I hear people say that, we have the most crime in this area. We don't. The Abbotsford Police Department continues to identify key players that are involved in gangs and the disruption of those gangs. We've installed video cameras in key areas, key crime areas, and we continue to have ongoing public and media engagement. Fentanyl, of course, is everywhere across Canada. It is a crisis. Things are, despite everything that's been done, it's not getting better. It's actually getting worse. Yesterday, our own Chief Bob Rich released a paper that you're going to hear. If you haven't seen it, it was on the news yesterday, and you'll hear more about this, but we have to figure out a better way. And I think our chief and his team have come up with that better way, and so you'll hear more about that in the coming days. I say all of that to say community safety remains a top priority for the Abbotsford Police Department, and as we strive to be the safest city in British Columbia. That's our goal. Delta. Delta keeps beating us, but that is who we're shooting for. And that's probably a wrong metaphor, sorry. So why does safety matter? And what other things matter in a thriving community? Well, I happen to believe that it's all about quality of life. And I'm here to announce today that at our last council meeting, council agreed to move on with a quality of life index. So you'll hear more and more about that. This is our first municipal quality of life program at the city of Abbotsford, but this will get rolled out in the next number of months. Why? Some of you may be asking that question. Well, I think we need to understand if the quality of life is going up or down. And we can only improve things if we know about them. If we don't know about them, we can't address them. So that's what that's all about. In a normal council term, a council may have one key community engagement project. We have two. Of course, the OCP was the first, which was concluded just under a year ago. We've had no amendments, so that tells me it's working. Prior to that, we were making official community plan amendments almost every time we met, which is, of course, a signal that it wasn't working. We have received awards for the official community plan. The first was from the Union of British Columbia Municipalities, so we won that. That was followed up by the Planning Institute of British Columbia, who gave us their gold medal for that plan. And I think it was last week or it was the week before, the Canadian Institute of Planners gave us recognition by giving us that award as well, which really means we beat out all of the big cities across Canada, because that's who we were up against. And so I just want to acknowledge, I don't know if we have any planning staff. Well, yes, our general manager of planning is here. I just want to say thank you for the hard work. People across Canada have been looking at what Abbotsford is doing, and I get calls from other provinces wanting me to come and share with them some of the things. I say I have more work than I can handle here. Thanks for the invite, but I just can't go. But Siri, please pass on to the staff how proud we are of them, of the OCP. Now we've embarked on Plan 200K, and you're going to hear lots about that. This is about planning for a city of 200,000 people. The OCP was a 40,000-foot look at the city. 200K is where the rubber meets the road, and how does this all translate to everyday life? We're updating all of our master plans and strategies to accommodate them. This encompasses over 18 different projects. It's going to bring all of the policies and vision of the OCP to life by updating those master plans and creating neighborhood plans. We've started the public consultation process, and there is more to come through open houses, workshops, online surveys, speaker series, much like we did for the official community plan. Our university district neighborhood plan will be wrapping up soon, and there are 3 more neighborhood plans that are currently underway at different stages. The city center, historic downtown Abbotsford, and the McKee neighborhood plan. And I don't want to touch on one more thing, and that's our zoning bylaw. It is unusual for a city to address its zoning bylaw in advance of an official community plan. But our zoning bylaw was so broken that we had to put Band-Aids on it. And I'm not a fan of Band-Aids, but we had to put some Band-Aids on it, recognizing that once the official community plan was in place, we would have to come back to that zoning bylaw and fix all of the things that deal with many land issues before us. And I know for some of you, and some of you may be in the room, it's not going fast enough, but this is an important piece of work. It sounds so simple, update your zoning bylaw, but it is an enormous undertaking. And we expect that to be complete in the fall, early fall this year. Now let's look at agricultural land, our ALR lands. AgriFresh is something you've probably heard about. It's underway. This is a project that reviews all of our agricultural policies, bylaws, and regulations for land in the Agricultural Land Reserve. Why is that important? Well, we need to make certain that agriculture remains a key economic driver in our city for generations to come. Excuse me, I knew I couldn't turn because this mic is wired to my lapel. Anyways, my apologies. My point is, let's not take agriculture for granted, because I think sometimes we do, because it's been here so long. It establishes a framework for ongoing bylaw compliance. We've completed an inventory of how land is currently being used in the ALR, every piece. We're engaging in the public and with the public and stakeholders. There's a consultation process that's underway, and it focuses on three themes. The first is support a thriving agricultural sector. The second is respond to the changing agricultural industry, and it is changing. 3, to bring about compliance by moving non-agricultural land use to where it belongs, in the industrial area. Our agriculture producers are competing on a world stage. We want to help formulate a game plan for how to respond to the new challenges and pressures on agricultural producers in a global marketplace. And we're working in conjunction with the ALC. Of course, Abbotsford is the largest agricultural producing jurisdiction in all of Canada, and so we do have the ear of the ALC, and they are listening. Let's turn to our industrial land strategy. The current status is that there'll be an ALC application that will be forwarded to the ALC. We have a public hearing scheduled, I think it's for July 17th. Council dealt with this last Monday. To make sure, and so why are we doing this? Well, we want to make sure that there's employment land for the next 60,000 people so that they have somewhere to work. I think we have an obligation and a duty to do that. One of the questions I didn't know was going to come up, the 65 or 64% of people living in Abbotsford work here. No other jurisdiction around us can claim that percentage. And we're not making this up. This is Stats Canada, so unless they're making it up, which I doubt, those are accurate numbers. We do know that as part of the OCP update, that we discovered that we will run out of serviced industrial land within the next 5 years at the current rate of intake, because there's a lot of activity happening, as you I'm sure notice. Our industrial land supply study is almost complete. We know how much vacant industrial service land we have, and we also know what we need. And what we need is an additional 250 hectares in total. We are being innovative and forward thinking with how we use our land. And speaking of innovation, Abbotsford, innovation is a key value for the city of Abbotsford. Innovation is driven by a desire to make things better than how we found them. Innovation builds a complete community and drives a strong and vibrant economy. And I'll just give you one example, new technology. We will soon be launching an online city app to support residents in quickly connecting with the city services from their mobile devices. So you'll start to hear a little bit more about that as well. It'll deal with reporting issues of all kinds, and there are some apps that are out there already. One of them is for garbage pickup. I know we get my wife gets a ping on her, or a text message on her cell phone at 7 o'clock the day before garbage pickup. Ours is in the morning, and it's a wonderful tool, way better than sticking a piece of paper in the inside of your cupboards. We also hosted an innovation forum called Elevate Abbotsford in partnership with the University of the Fraser Valley. We had a great day, brought innovative thinkers from different sectors to gather ideas from the forum, which were then used to enhance our economic development strategic plan. As I begin to wrap up, I want to say that it has been an exciting 3 years. In many ways, it has flown by with all of the positive changes that are taking place in our city. Oh, I didn't see it. It's a good thing I can't see. Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen the run-through of the slides. And anyway, we continue to build momentum. Every day, I am reminded that building this community is a partnership. It's teamwork. From all levels of government, to organizations, to educational institutions, to faith communities, to business, to residents, individual residents. We are all part of creating a community that we want to work, live, play, and learn in. And none of what I have spoken about today would have been possible without the ongoing dedication of our committed staff at the City of Abbotsford. They continue to impress me. They are innovative and forward-thinking in their approaches. And I just want to thank our deputy, this isn't in my notes, but I thank our deputy city manager for having stepped in the gap. As many of you know, our city manager on Good Friday had a heart attack, and he's been gone for the last 2.5 months. I just want to thank Jake and his team for stepping into that gap and giving leadership. And I'll say a little bit more about George in a minute. I would also like to recognize my fellow council members. And I'm going to do this in alphabetical order. And I'm going to ask you to stand and remain standing so people can see where you are in case they want to connect with you afterwards. Councillor Les Barkman, Sandy Blue, Kelly Shahal, Brenda Falk, Mo Gill, Dave Lowen, Patricia Ross, and Ross Siemens. It is an honor and a privilege to work alongside such dedicated, civic-minded colleagues as we build a vibrant economy and a complete community in our city. And just a word about that vibrant economy. I'm often asked, what am I most proud of in my term so far? And this may surprise you. Take a look at this graph. The left side of this graph is when any organization, including government, get into trouble. The right side of the graph is when you're paying attention to the business that you're in, whatever that is, and there is a business aspect to the city. We were underwater almost $18 million in 2011. We are now at positive $144 million. This doesn't happen by accident. This takes fiscal discipline, a plan that you then work. And I want to acknowledge and thank our city manager, George Murray, who I believe is somewhere in the back. He's probably incognito with a baseball cap on, but he said he was going to be here. George, thank you to you and your team for making this possible, because without it, yeah. And he didn't know I was going to do this, but I think he would be very proud of this himself if you asked him what he was most proud of. I do just want to say that George, as many of you know in the room, did have a heart attack. He's doing much better. He will be rejoining us on July the 10th, so that's just 2 weeks away. And we're looking forward to having him back. So, finally, I want to say thank you to you, each of you. It is only through business and resident engagement in this community that we can build a vibrant economy, a complete community, a truly hub city. So please, as I close, thank yourselves for all that you do, because you make this city great. And this is a great city. And I enjoy serving as your mayor. And I think we've had some great days behind us, but I think the better days are still before us. So I invite you back next year, and I hope that some of this has been informative. I'm going to take a quick glass of water, and then I'm going to come back up and we'll do a quick Q&A. So thank you for coming.
Okay, we're going to get ourselves organized and let His Worship answer some questions, which is great.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, Barb and Colleen are out there with microphones, I do believe, to help us out.
There was a bottle of water.
There is, yeah, you can use that one. I don't know who that's for, but I haven't touched it, I promise.
So who wants to begin? And it's hard for me to see as...
Yeah, that's right. I've stayed off stage so I can help see. Who would like to put their hand up and ask the first question to get us going here? There's one over here. Colleen, we'll start over there.
I think we have 2 roving mics, so make sure you stick your hand way up so they can see you.
There we go.
Yeah, hello. My name's Ron Eckersley. I represent Marshall Aerospace. But my concerns our southern neighbor, and I'm a frequent visitor to the US, and like many of us, I use the border crossing here, which is an important one to get through. Does the city control the access roads to the border, and can something be done about the nexus lane?
I think I heard most of that. I think
can something be done about the nexus lane in relation
yes,
to the traffic control up to the border?
Border security and what was happening with our neighbors to the south. All of those things are usually they're not in my purvey as the mayor. I mean, we're concerned about those things, and we regularly voice our concerns to our MLAs and our MPs. I travel to Ottawa twice a year and visit Victoria multiple times throughout the years to advocate for our city and the needs that are before us. I am concerned with what's going on south of the border, but I'm not going to get into the U.S. politics down there, just in case this is I think it is being taped. They've got their hands full down there, and I'm looking, I'm trying to figure out what's going on down there.
So part of his question was about the actual traffic control leading up to the border and the whole nexus lane and how that it has clustered on us a few times. We've ended up down there trying to fix things ourselves. So
Thank you. I didn't hear that part. So just speak loudly, because my hearing's not what it used to be, and so I didn't pick that up. But we continue to push on the widening of Sumas Way, and of course there was an overpass at Vi Road. That overpass has caused us all sorts of grief. That project can't proceed unless the 2 railways are in agreement in what we do, crossing their rights of way, and that hasn't happened. I think last year I said that I thought by this time we would have that sorted out. We don't, so I'm a little reluctant, but we continue to push on that. Our staff meet regularly with MOTI staff and the railways, maybe not so much the railways anymore, but we're trying to figure out maybe a different way to do that. And to be perfectly blunt, that may mean that the overpass doesn't happen, but the widening of Sumas Way and the nexus lane can happen, so we may opt for that, but that is something council hasn't wrestled with yet.
So stand by. Thank you for that question. Have we got another question out there? Barb would feel bad if nobody on this side asked for a question, so.
I hear a voice, but...
Yeah, Colleen's heading over there.
Okay. Yeah, don't be bashful. And if there's a question that you didn't want to ask in public,
Just when
either
can we
let me know, call my office. Nancy is here as well, my executive assistant. She is a marvelous help to me and keeps me organized, and I don't know what I would do without you, Nancy.
Okay, go for it.
When can we expect the Highway 1 widening to be complete?
When can we expect the Highway 1 widening?
To be completed.
Well, I don't know about the completion, but the next phase, I understand from Langley to the overpass at 264th, I think it also includes that overpass, a new overpass at 264th, I think the planning is underway, and I expect to see equipment there sometime in the next 12 months. The piece following that, I'm not so sure. And the reason I say that is I was in Ottawa just 3-4 weeks ago. I brought this subject up, the Minister of Infrastructure. My understanding is that will be up to the next government, and we don't know who that is yet. The current government, of course, is supportive of going all the way to just carrying on when the Langley section is done. They will carry on through Whatcom Road. If there's a change in government, it would be up to the new government. If that is a priority for them, the federal government will be at the table to help fund. If it is not a priority for the new provincial government, they would not provide funds to carry through that work. So you may want to start engaging some letter writing to make our provincial government, whoever they are, aware that we need to get that freeway widened. I actually think by the time it's complete with 3 lanes, it's probably not enough. But I said, you've got to go through 4 lanes in Abbotsford. And part of the reason I say that and advocate for that is because our residents, and I'm guilty of this myself, use the freeway as a road to get from east to west or west to east because it's faster than going through the core of our city. And so, and MOTI reminds us of that from time to time, and they said, you really should, as a city, be paying for that 4th lane because you're using it like it's a municipal road. And there is some truth to that, but highways are not something we are going to get involved with. That is, we only have property taxes. We don't have all of the other taxes. So unless they want to give up a third of their tax money, I'm prepared to go anywhere. If we have our revenue increase, that would be a possibility. But we're not going to widen 1 lane of the freeway from Whatcom to Mount Lehman with property taxes, or your taxes are going to go way up. But thank you for the question.
Good question. Okay, what have we got over here? Anybody? Question? Oh, we've got one right in the front and one in the back. We'll do the one in the back to start with. Thank you. Hang on. Barb's getting her way over there.
Speaking about finances and going back to that chart, what is the projection for 2017?
So which
projections for 2017 for finances? He's referencing the chart where you showed
our net financial assets.
Right.
The graph will be higher next year than it was for 2016.
The arrow will point in the right direction.
But we're almost halfway through the year, so I have an indication of where we might be. But I wouldn't want to say that until council first hears me say that.
So up, not down. That's good.
Yes. If you're concerned about a reversal, the answer is no. Now, having said that, I guess there's a reason why we want to be in a healthy financial position, because it allows you to do things when there's a catastrophe. So if there was a catastrophe, that's now all bets are off. But if everything is normal, you'll see an improved picture next year. I can't wait for next year, actually, because there's some really cool things that you're going to hear about.
That's cool. Yeah, I always say that to His Worship. My budget's okay until one bad thing happens, and then all bets are off. So there you go. In the front.
Hi. We're starting to see a real brain drain, I think, here in Abbotsford to Chilliwack, especially, as a result of a lack of affordable starter homes for the millennials and their families. And I'm just wondering, is there anything that you can see on the near horizon for affordable starter homes? That not necessarily townhomes, but individual family homes that would be more in the range where they could afford it and keep their abilities here in Abbotsford.
Yeah, good question, Kelly. We are working on an affordable housing strategy within the city. It is tied to all of all of the other things that we're doing, the master plans, the neighborhood plans, the zoning bylaw. You know, when people say they don't like this about our city or that about our city, I always remind them, I says, well, you know, nothing happens by accident. Somebody actually approved all of this, otherwise it could not have been built. And so we're trying to fix some of that so that we can do some of the things. Well, this would be one component. So you will hear that, but you're going to start hearing this more and more. But we're probably still 6 months out before we know. We haven't had a council report from staff yet on that topic, but we are very cognizant of it. Part of it, of course, is because there's more people that want to live here than we have than we have accommodation for. And the private sector is picking up. I think there's like 3,000 units at various stages. I mean, I only touched on rental housing. There's a whole other component of townhouses and condos, and the developers that are in the room know that they're selling them as fast as they can. Well, they're selling them even before they're built. There is a migration, though, out of Vancouver. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. We have done such a good job of promoting Vancouver. It started with Expo 86. It was amplified by the 2010 Olympics. We are a world-class. Vancouver is a world-class city. We should not be surprised now that we've done such a good job of marketing that world-class city that we also have world-class prices in Vancouver, which are, I don't know how younger people are going to live there. But there is a way to do it, and Vancouver will have to deal with this too. If you can't have all of the single-family neighborhoods that they have, they need to densify. Our whole OCP is about densification, and I think over time you're going to see more affordable housing. But for some people, it just means moving further east, and that's why we see that. But in terms of brain drain, I'm not so sure. There's quite a few businesses that are locating from the east. They want to get closer to where the action is, and some of that's happening even on this airport. I just won't focus on that right now. I don't know who's in the room from Chilliwack, so I want to be careful what I say.
It's a lovely community. It's not as good as ours, that's all. Colleen?
Good morning, Mayor Braun. Kim Domingo with Cascade Aerospace. I was wondering if you could please expand on the importance of UFV to the development of and the growth of the city of Abbotsford, and what potentially the plans are for UFV.
I don't know where you are, Kim. I hear you, but oh, there you are. Okay, it's hard to see here. Thank you for the question. UFV, I'm not so sure. You know, I like to be blunt, so I'll be blunt. I think we have not paid as much attention to the University of the Fraser Valley as we ought to have. And when I became the mayor, I very quickly engaged with our president. And I'm sorry to see that he's retiring, because I was just starting to get to know him. And so, but UFV is an absolute critical part of our city and its future. There are many cities that would give a left arm or a right arm to have a university in their city. We are trying to we are partnering with them. The university district plan is almost complete. That's going to be a key component to how that university moves forward. And we're working on many fronts with them. I cannot overstate the importance of the University of the Fraser Valley. I don't know who the second employer is. I know Fraser Health is first, but I think the university's got to be right up there. And there's a lot of young people that are coming out of that university that have told me they want to work in Abbotsford. They don't want to go to Surrey, and they don't want to go to Burnaby or Vancouver. It's such a long commute. And so all of our planning and our master plans, our OCP, this is all tied in with this. And I wish it was quicker. I tell people sometimes, so they say, how's it going? I says, well, the analogy I use, two analogies. One is, I feel like we're rebuilding an aircraft, seeing as you're Cascade, while we're flying. And we don't want to crash the plane. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of that. Are we perfect? No. Have we dropped the ball once or twice? Yep, we have. But I'm reminded, and George is in the room, he has a saying, if you drop the ball, you pick it up, acknowledge your mistake, and carry on. Keep calm and carry on, as the British would say. What else? the other one is, no, I won't use the other one. That's the best one, because you're with Cascade. But thank
Stick
you
with
for
the
asking.
airplane one. I
Yeah.
think that was good for her, yeah. Another question?
Yeah, that's the problem with Q&A. I tend to
No,
drift
you were
into
good.
other
You were good.
subjects,
The
too.
the airplane was good. Let's keep that one in the air. Barb's got a question over there.
And there's 1,500 people that work at this airport. A lot of people in Abbotsford don't know that. This is a huge economic driver for us, and we have just started. The best days are before us.
Very cool. Go for it, Barb.
All right, what are your thoughts on Berry Fest, and will you be attending?
What are my thoughts on Berry Fest, and will I be attending? I don't know. Nancy, am I attending? She's the keeper of my calendar.
Yeah, that's right.
I think I am attending. I am going to take off 10 days with my bride of 47 years in August. So I'm just trying to remember when Berry Fest is. So I forget the dates even when we're going. But
When's Berry Fest?
I try
July
to make
8th.
as
July 8th.
when?
July 8th?
Oh yes, yeah. I'll be here. We're not going anywhere until after Air Show and Agri Fair.
Very exciting.
But sometimes there is multiple events. That
I actually encourage his worship to take more breaks. I worry about him a little bit, so just so you know. So it actually is important. It's okay for your mayor to have a holiday, people. Just a little reminder to throw out there. We got any more questions going on? Oh, we got one back there. Colette, thank you.
Hi, Henry. Karen Santiago, Communitas. And I was really excited to hear about your quality of life index that the council and yourself have put together. And I'm wondering if you could speak to the concept of social planning in our community as we grow.
Well, Karen, I can't see. Oh, are you back there? Yes, okay. Thank you for the question. We are going to roll this out. I haven't seen, neither has council, the complete rollout of this, but social planning will be a part of that. That is also part of a quality of life and many other things. The challenge is, which things do you measure? And I want some public input when this happens too. So the public hasn't had a say in this yet. But that is, as you know from our conversations, that is very important to me, and I know it's important to this council. And we continue to advocate with senior levels of government because some of this we cannot do on our own. But we can advocate. And when we make a strong business case and we're armed with the information, I have found both levels of government to be receptive, both the former and the current. Federal government and of course our provincial government, what's been there 16 years. I can't speak for what might happen if there's a change, but I will continue to advocate there too. In person and in other venues. Every venue I get, or every venue I attend when there's senior levels of government people there, I always try to remind them of the needs in Abbotsford, and the social component of that is and I think our governments are getting that message. It's taken a while. It's going to be like the fentanyl crisis. We're suggesting some things to change, not change. What's happening is fine, but we are dealing with a certain segment, and we need to up the game and focus on some other things to the prevention side, which is on the fentanyl, opioid overdoses. I don't think we've done as much as we can or should be doing. And so, but that, again, is not our job. That is the federal and provincial government that have to help us. But if we have to lead, I really believe that cities, mayors, and councils are going to give much more leadership in many of these areas than we have historically seen. There seems to be a shift because, eventually all of whatever issues anybody is facing, they land at the doorstep of the mayor and council and say, what are you guys going to do about it? And so we're pushing as hard as we can to get things moving, but governments, I have found, move slower than private sector. I sometimes talk with people who are outside of government, and they tell me that we as a city are moving at lightning speed for government in the last 3 years. It doesn't feel that way to me sometimes, but I'm told that we're moving things along a lot faster than what the norm is. And so we'll keep pushing on that. Thank you.
Great question. We've got time for one more question. Oh, and there we go. It's right over there. Call it.
My name is Bill Dyke, and I'm on the board of directors of Tabor Home. And I noticed that there's been no comments made on seniors in our community. And I'm wondering what the attitude and cooperation is of the planning as well as the Council of Abbotsford toward the development of more facilities for seniors in our city.
I think I heard that, I think it's Mr. Dick, and you're with Tabor? Is that what I heard? Yes.
Yeah, and his comment was that we haven't talked about seniors in this presentation, and he's wondering about the development of more facilities for seniors as we go forward. Obviously, it's going to be a demographic we're going to have to serve in the future. So.
Yep, absolutely. Yes, there are some things that are in the planning stages. I talked with the developer in the room, who is in the room, because I know he's here, because I talked to him this morning, but I'm not at liberty to divulge what he is thinking, but he has a great plan that ties into exactly the subject that you're talking about. Council, at our last council meeting, dealt with a report, age-friendly report, and I made some statements about, we undervalue our seniors. Some people actually don't like that term, seniors. The older adults, I'm hearing, is the word that they want to use. So I'll use older adults. They contributed vastly to this city and to other cities that they come from, because some of them come here to retire. But we have an obligation to meet their needs as well. And so you're going to start hearing a little bit more about that as we update our master plans, even to the point of, and I said this at council, I used the crosswalks as an example. We need to slow down the timing so that, because I watch seniors, older adults walking across South Fraser Way, and they can barely make it across the intersection before the light changes. And so some seniors are fearful of that, and they've told me that. So all of these things are being looked at together, but there is like 1,000 moving parts to this. But, and we continue to advocate. I have had meetings, or been part of meetings with Tabor Home and some members of our Indo-Canadian community who were collaborating to see if there was maybe another wing as part of your rebuild to accommodate that. I should probably get an update, because I haven't had one for a couple of months. But seniors housing is important, and there are some interesting developments that are around the corner. Some of this, of course, is awaiting the neighborhood plans and the zoning bylaw. I hate to keep bringing that up, but it is somewhat of not an obstacle. We have to fix those things because Band-Aids aren't good enough. And we really are. I hope everybody understands that this council is building a foundation. That's not that the foundation was crumbling. It's just it'll speed up things when there's policies and procedures in place that everybody understands, that are in human speak, as I sometimes say, so that an ordinary person coming to the counter shouldn't have to hire engineers to tell them what does that mean. We should be able to explain that in plain English. And I think you're gonna be excited. Not everybody's excited about some of the densification that we're talking about, because it changes. But I remind people, if the city was the way it was when I came here in 1953, 8,000 people, it looked quite different than it does today. I'm always struck by people saying, well, I moved here 10 years ago and I don't want the city to change, keep everybody out. I actually was at a public information meeting a month or two ago that suggested that our police should be stopping people at the overpasses and telling them that don't come to Abbotsford, we're full. There's too many people that live here. And he was dead serious. And he wasn't cuckoo. So he had a strange idea.
Pull over to the curb there, stranger. I don't think I've seen you in these parts before.
He actually said that about the whole Fraser Valley. He says there's way too many people that live here. But guess what? This is the California of Canada. People do want to come here. And there's a lot of people from around the world who want to be here, which of course drives all the costs up. But that too may stop one day. There's nothing goes up forever. There's always, I've been in business long enough. Well, I'm not so much in business anymore, but I have seen cycles in the economy, and There will be cycles. The marketplace does correct itself over time.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, great morning. Thank you so much, Mayor Braun, for your
Thank
talk
you.
and
Good to
your
see you.
stories. Fantastic job. Thank you again for coming. I'm sorry you ran out of time. Mayor Braun and I were going to sing a duet for you at the end, but it looks like we've just run out of time. Fantastic. We wanted to end at 9 o'clock. We've done that. Have a great day.